Hey guys, welcome back to Board Together Games. This time we're taking a look at a really cool engine building card game called Splendor. It's for 2 to 4 players. Let's get to the table and check out the review. Hey guys, welcome back to Board Together Games, which is our channel that caters to people who are new to the board gaming hobby and families in particular by posting video reviews of board games just like this one. And Ryan, what are we looking at today?
Splendor, designed by Marc-Andre, published by Space Cowboys, and it is a game for 2 to 4 players.
Very cool, yeah. And what kind of game is this?
Engine building.
Engine building, which sounds scary, but it is not. Engine building is basically a mechanic of a game where you will spend time gathering resources or cards or tokens that will in turn allow you to gain more resources, cards, or tokens, or better of those things. And you will do that throughout the course of the game. And the person who typically does that the most effectively and efficiently, typically but not always, will win the game. All right, so to set up Splendor, you are going to shuffle up each of these 3 stacks of development cards and pile them up just like this. You're then going to take the top 4 of each of these decks and lay them out face up in this grid pattern like you see here. And you're also going to take a number of these noble tiles equal to the number of players plus 1 and place them out face up at the top of the tableau like this. And you will also break out the gem tokens and place them on the table. And the number of these that you use will fluctuate depending on the number of players that you have. And then simply you choose a start player and the game can begin. Splendor is a turn-based game. And so what that means is starting with the first player, each person will take a single action on their turn. And there are 3 possible actions to choose from. So the first action is called acquiring gems. Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
When you acquire gems, you take one of 3 of these 5 colors and take 1 from each stack.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can take 2 of one type from 1 stack.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's there are some limitations on that. You can only take 2 of one color if there are 4 or more available in that stack. Once it gets down to 3 or below, you can't take 2. You can only take 1 of each or do a completely different action. You can also only ever have as many as 10 of these in front of you at any given time. If you ever have more than that, you must discard down to 10. Other actions are, one of them is you can reserve a card. Ryan, how do you reserve a card?
You take any card that's face up, put it face down, and take one of these gold, which is a wild for any one of the types.
Sure, yeah. So, yeah, you will, and then you'll replace the card that you have taken by placing the next one off at the top of the associated deck and place it face up in the tableau. So yeah, Ryan mentioned that the gold tokens are wild resources. So these colored gems, they are just that. You have diamond, emerald, ruby, onyx, and sapphire, but we usually just call them by their color because it's easier that way. The gold resource is wild. So once you have reserved a card, and you can have up to 3 cards reserved in front of you at any given time during the game, never more than that. And you can use these gold resources as a wild card to purchase another card. So that takes us to the third possible action, which is purchase a card. To purchase a card, you are going to spend the resources that are required and listed in the lower left-hand corner of any of these cards from your supply. Pay them back to the general supply, take the card and place it face up in front of you. And that's going to do some interesting things. So from this point on, now that I have this card in front of me, this particular one is a blue sapphire gem in the upper right-hand corner. That now becomes a permanent resource for me to use for the remainder of the game. I can use that resource to then purchase on a subsequent turn any other card that requires at least 1 blue resource, 1 blue gem. And the great thing about it is this never goes away. These are in front of you for the entire game. So this is kind of where you start seeing the engine building part of this come into play. The more of these cards I purchase, the more permanent gems or permanent resources I'm going to have in front of me that I can use to purchase bigger and better cards. So you'll notice that these cards are split up into 3 different tiers. There's 3 different development decks. There's level 1, level 2, level 3. The level 1 cards typically only give you the benefit of the permanent resource. Every once in a while, you'll find one like this one here that you may not be able to see on camera that does give you a victory point. Victory points are printed in the upper left-hand corner of the cards. The level 2 and the level 3 cards always have victory points. The other way that you can get victory points is by the use of these noble tiles right here. These are interesting because they have printed in their lower left-hand corner a color and type of resource as well. However, the only way that you can acquire these cards is if you have met or exceeded the printed cost in the lower left in permanent gems only, not the gem tokens. So in order to collect this noble right here, I must have acquired 4 cards that have a permanent blue gem and 4 cards that have a permanent green gem. And once that happens, if that condition is met at the end of my turn, then this tile will be picked up, will be moved over to my play area, and I score the 3 points listed in the upper left-hand corner here. So that is how you get victory points, from either the noble tiles or the cards themselves. And the victory points leads us into the end game. So Ryan, why don't you tell us what the end game conditions are in Splendor?
When a player reaches 15 or more points, that triggers the end of the game. Every player gets another turn, and whoever has the most points wins.
That's right. So as far as what we like about this game, I think this game is good because it's fairly portable if you take it out of the box. The box is a little bit big. It has a very good price point. For the production value, the price point is really good. It's very reasonable. The game is simple to teach. It's simple to learn. It's a wonderful presentation. The artwork is beautiful. The components, excellent. And the rule book is done pretty well. It's fairly self-explanatory as far as how to play the game. Ryan, what do you like about it?
I like that the quality.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yes.
It's very relaxing.
Yeah, it kind of gives you that relaxing feeling. You just sit back with your friends, play a game, have a good time. It's very nice. What else?
The artwork on this is really good, and it's very simple.
It is, yeah, it's a very simple game.
And since you're only using a part of the decks, that gives it a lot of replayability.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. The cards are all very similar, but what we've found is that in some games you will get, for example, a ton of blue permanent resource cards and no white, and everybody's just scrambling for white, or some other scenario like that could really radically change what your strategy might be in any given game. So yeah, I would agree with that. Is there anything you don't like about the game?
It's really big out of the box.
Yeah.
In the box.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. It takes up a lot of table space for what it is, which is just a bunch of cards and some poker chips for all intents and purposes. It does take up quite a bit of real estate, but and that will kind of inhibit where you can take it. It's good for vacation, it's things like that, hotel rooms. Not so much for restaurants or those kinds of things, just because, smaller table, bigger game could be kind of a problem. And really, there's no theme here. There's gems, and that's about it. I mean, there's just not a whole lot to go on. It does make up for it in the fact that it is wonderful to look at. But yeah, there's really not a whole lot of theme here. Doesn't bother me too much, but it's worthy of note. So as far as a rating on this game, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. This game is always a good time. I've never not enjoyed playing Splendor. The only issue I really have with it is Ryan wins all the time. Other than that, I think it's wonderful. It feels like a classic game. I really think this game's going to be around for a really long time. It just kind of gives me that feeling. Like it's going to be a classic. And Ryan, what do you think? What's your rating for Splendor?
7.5.
7.5. Okay. That's a little lower than I thought. I assumed just because how good he is at this game that it would have been a little bit higher, but I can respect that. And as far as family friendliness, we're going to give this game a 9.5 out of 10. Almost perfect score. It's great. I mean, there's no bad content here at all. No language issues. None of those types of things. it works wonderfully in a family environment, church environment, a place where anything like that might be of a concern. So no issues there, 9.5 out of 10. So that wraps it up, guys, for Splendor. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you like what we're doing, please take the time to like this video or comment on it, and please subscribe to the channel if you deem fit. Also, please check out Gamer Thredz. That's a company owned by a good friend of mine who does silk screening of t-shirts that really cater to kind of the nerdy gamer culture. They're awesome. I love them, and I think you will too, so head over and check that out. We feel like if you're going to support us, you should get something back. So thanks again for watching, and remember, everybody, if you are bored together, thanks so much, and we will see you next time. Take. Ryan, tell us how this game ends.
This game ends when a person reaches 15 total points.
Or more. Or more. Or more. You got this. Here we go. Here we go. You guys know we're going to get this.
When somebody reaches 15 points. Or more!
We hope you enjoyed this video. I will leave a couple of comments. Got a whole bag. We're done.
Yeah, we are.